Well, good morning, everyone. It's so good to see you today. And my name is Sandeep Mazumder. I'm the new Dean of the Hankamer School of Business here at Baylor. I've been here for about 2 months now, so I am brand new on campus and getting used to everything Baylor and Waco and Texas. One of the things that I've been able to do since being here is spend a lot of time meeting with faculty and staff, and also meeting with alumni and benefactors to the university, and I've really enjoyed doing that. One area where I've not spent that much time is talking with students. So that's actually one reason why we're here today. I had the idea of let's get together with a group of students and speak to them and give me an opportunity to share some of my background and answer questions from you all. So I'm excited to do that today. Just to give you a brief background on myself. So I am an economist by training. I did grow up in London, England, and did my undergraduate work in England as well. I went to the University of Cambridge to do my bachelor's degree, came here to the United States to do my graduate work. Did my PhD at the Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland in economics, and I was a professor at Wake Forest University for 12 years prior to being here. And I had many leadership roles also at Wake Forest prior to being here, the Dean at Baylor, and just excited to be here. And we have so many interesting things and challenges that await us here at Hankamer, and things that are going really well and things that we need to innovate on. So that's some of the challenge that awaits us in the future. And it really is a team effort. So part of that is the students. Well, a huge part of that is the students. What exactly is the experience that you all are going through, and what is the future that you would like to have for yourselves and the future students that are coming through after you? So I'm excited to hear from you all today, and happy to take questions.
Hi, my name is Sophia Caballero. I'm a junior supply chain major. What has been the most challenging part of your transition to Baylor?
Yeah, thanks for the question. You know, a few things I would say. It's been a whirlwind, I would say, ever since I got the call from Baylor University a few months ago asking me to come here, and it's been quite a change for my family and I. Probably the physical move, I would say, is one of the biggest things that happened. I have a wife and 3 young kids, and moving from North Carolina to Texas in a short period of time during a pandemic and during a time when housing market is a strange time to be buying a house and moving as well. So that was challenging, and we had some really great close friends also in North Carolina, and that was difficult saying goodbye. We were very integrated in our church community. I was an elder of the church that we were a part of, so that was difficult saying bye to our church family as well. But at the same time, we've met so many great people here in Texas since we've been in. I would say folks have really welcomed us and been very open and just warm with us so far. So that's the good and the bad, I would say, so far with the move.
Hi, my name's Gabe Jensen, and I'm a sophomore business student on the Finance and Management Information Systems track. I was going to ask, with all the variables you talked about and the many different directions your life has taken you, it takes a lot of grit. And I was going to ask, how does grit, defined as the passion and perseverance in pursuit of long-term goals, play a role in your professional and personal life?
Yeah, thanks for asking that question. I think grit is so important, and that's exactly the word I like to use myself as well. You know, I've done lots of hiring in higher education since I've been in this role and my previous roles, and aside from the technical baseline skills which you need in any job, that's probably the number one thing I'm always looking for in employees, faculty and staff that we're hiring. Do they have that grit and that initiative to work hard and be determined and persevere, some of the words that you used? That applies to students as well. That's not just for the hiring side of things. I think I would like our Baylor students to also show that grit in terms of the classwork that they have, the way they approach life in the classroom and outside of the classroom, and of course in the career hunt as well. That's something that companies and employers are looking for. Graduate schools want to see that in the work that you're doing as well. Now, it manifests in different ways. It doesn't look the same for every single person. But I think a mindset that I'm keen for us to have here at Hankamer is to realize that failures do happen as well. So failures will happen, and that's okay, but it's having that grit and determination to pick yourselves up, roll up your sleeves, and work hard to get through that. So yes, we will fail, myself included, but how do we react in that and work hard to persevere despite those challenges? So yes, I think it's absolutely important and something that I'm always looking for.
Hi, my name's Emma Focarile. I am a senior accounting major here at Baylor, and I always like to ask people what they're passionate about because I feel like that translates very well into both personal life and professional life. So what is a hobby that you have in your personal life that you're passionate about, and how do you think it positively translates into your professional life?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. You know, I have several hobbies, I would say, outside of work that I like to do, and probably the one that sticks out the most, that if I had a few days free to just go do whatever I wanted to do, I would go fishing. I'm a big fisherman. I really enjoy fishing. I'm not necessarily the best fisherman. I like doing it, but I'm an average fisherman at best, probably. I think there's something about being there in the water that there's a calmness and quietness about it that brings over me that I really enjoy, and that connection with nature, and it's part of God's creation. And I think that in some way, shape or form, you could consider it a form of worship as well. So I see that view through it. It teaches you to be patient and to be calm and composed, but I'd also say fishing also teaches you to strike at the right time. And I think that's also crucial, a lesson in the business world and in business school that we need to be aware of. It's striking when the moment's right, when you're at your peak, and excelling with those opportunities. So I think that's how I'd say fishing does translate in some way, shape or form to the role that I'm in right now.
Good morning, welcome to Baylor. We're really excited to have you. My name is Paige McClelland. I'm a current senior majoring in professional selling. Obviously, faith is a huge part of the Baylor curriculum. How does your faith impact your leadership at Baylor?
Yeah, I would say faith is just integral to everything that I do. I think I'd like to say it is guiding everything that I do. And, you know, I'd say that's true even if I wasn't the dean of the business school here. Whatever role I was doing, my faith would still be playing that guiding central role in that. I don't believe in a secular sacred divide. I think everything is part of God's kingdom, part of God's creation. So, you know, we go on Sundays to church service, to worship and to be part of the community, but God is also God over Monday through Saturday, and that's the way I like to live my life. So that, in terms of leadership, that means this is a Christian business school, and we're here to do work to serve God's kingdom, to help people, help faculty, staff, and students in the outside community, outside of the walls here at Baylor. I think it's really important for me and for others to see every man, woman, and child as someone made in God's image. So everyone has that dignity, value, worth, and respect as we do. I think we think of those things ourselves. We're quick to realize I'm valuable and I'm quite worthy, and that's true, but that's also true of everyone else around us. So that also shapes the way that I do leadership and the way I treat others, the way I empower others in the work that we do. It also means that we have the capacity and ability and talents to really accomplish great things. That shouldn't be an excuse for the work that we're doing. If anything, I think we have greater power to succeed in the work that we're doing as a Christian business school in this Christian university. So it absolutely does shape my leadership and the way I form my teams and the way we create programs and lead here at Hankamer. And we need to always have that as our North Star behind everything that we're doing.
My name is Armando Ramirez. I'm a freshman and my major is Hankamer Scholar. And my question was, what do you believe that business students should be doing besides having a good GPA to get the internship/job that they desire?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Armando. It's really important to think about. And I would say it's really important to think about as a freshman. I know you're a freshman. We were talking before in the Scholars Program. It used to be the case many years ago, certainly when I was a student, that you could wait some time and actually even stumble into different careers and professions, and that used to be okay, but the world has changed. That's not the way the world is anymore. You need to be more proactive in thinking about things right from the get-go, right from when you arrive through the doors here at Baylor. So I would say for freshmen, but for all students, but certainly for freshmen, start going to the Career Center. Make an appointment to see the Career Center today. We have a great career office here at Baylor. In fact, it did have a history of being originated here at the business school, and we still have a presence of the career office here in the business school. So I know they're eager to meet with every single student, start talking with them, take initiative in the conversations you're having, talk to your faculty about what led them into their different fields and different industry experience that they might have had prior to being here in the classroom. One thing we're blessed with here at Baylor and here at Hankamer is we have an amazing alumni connection and business people all over the state and country and world doing amazing work. So speak to them. That we invite them back frequently. In fact, I'm meeting with alumni today that are coming back to see us, and this is almost a daily occurrence for us here at Hankamer, where we have really successful business people coming back to speak to us, and it's important to connect to them, learn from them, and gain wisdom. I'd also say speak to your family. Speak to your family and your friends, your parents' friends in the industries that they're in, and start doing mock interviews. Start preparing what you would say in these different job interviews for when the time comes that you're to do it yourself. Read job ads, start working on your resume. It may seem like a long time down the road for some of our students that that's happening, but you can never start early enough, at least thinking about the challenges and what you need to do, positioning yourself for that future success that we all know is coming. So I think being proactive is absolutely key. And also never assume anything or take anything for granted. Don't just sit back and think, I deserve this or that job or professional career. Even if that's true, that's just not the right attitude to take about it. You need to be humble and be prepared to do the work in order to get to that position and start working on it now.
Good morning. My name is Daniel Tincopa, and I'm a senior accounting major. I'm about to begin my graduate program in accounting, and I just wanted to ask you, what are some pieces of advice you would give your younger self before starting grad school?
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. For me, graduate school, I moved from England to the United States to go to graduate school, and I would say, in full honesty, it took me a while to adjust to being in that graduate program, different city and a different lifestyle, and I eventually made that adjustment and it went really well in the end. But if I were to go back and give advice to my younger self about that, I would say, get connected sooner to your classmates and to your faculty and to the city as well. So if you're new here in Waco, start exploring the city, start exploring campus. The thing that's more different about graduate school than undergrad, I would say, at least in my opinion, is, you're doing classes, but there is more teamwork that goes into that at the graduate level than even at the undergraduate level. Graduate school is hard. There are really difficult things that you'll be going through, and your classmates are going through those challenges at the same time. So you need to lean into each other's strengths and help one another. So I think getting that connection early on is vital, and be inquisitive also. Ask your faculty questions and don't shirk back from those questions. It may seem that they don't want to hear it, but they really do. They want to hear what ideas you have, and don't be afraid to challenge them and think about what those questions are as well.
Good morning, Sikkim Bears, Alex LeFave, MBA candidate. As we move towards the goal of becoming an R1 university, what are some challenges or pitfalls that we may experience along the way, and what can we do as an institution and also us as students do to help mitigate and overcome those challenges?
Yeah, the R1 goals, of course, of Baylor are imperative to the university and something they've been working on for many years, and it's actually something that attracted me to come to Baylor, and I was very interested in being a part of that. I would say from the business school perspective, let me first speak about the business school perspective. R1 measures specific metrics. So the Carnegie classification that decides which universities are R1 and which are not, they're measuring certain variables, such as research doctorates, spending that's done from external grants. So there's a part of R1 that we at the business school need to be doing as well. We have great faculty here doing important research where they're obtaining external grants, and we're producing students with these PhDs. But at the same time, we also have a non-R1 component, I would say, at the business school, where we have faculty who are doing excellent research, making an impact on society, but it doesn't actually get counted directly into the Carnegie numbers for R1. And the way I position it is maybe a way that isn't thought of very often, is that these two things are complementary. The R1 research and the non-R1 research go hand in hand. It's not one or the other. So for example, if we have a faculty member who's applying for a big NSF grant, they'll look at the reputation of Baylor before they decide to award that grant or not. And the non-R1 research we're doing contributes heavily towards that. So they help reinforce one another, and here at the business school, we need to do both. So that's the first thing I would say. And secondly, from the student perspective, particularly our graduate students, I would like our graduate students to be contributing as research assistants towards what their faculty members are doing. And I think that part of that comes from just being more aware of what's going on in a faculty member's own scholarship and asking them the questions about what is it that I can do to help and partner alongside you with that research. So I think our graduate students can directly help providing that assistance. Indirectly though, our MBA programs and other graduate programs, and even at the undergraduate level, helps promote our brand as a business school. So improving the reputation of Baylor Hankamer School of Business is going to feed into eventual R1 metrics. And then the last thing I would say is all of you will graduate and go on to very successful careers, hopefully in the near future, but we need to know what the relevant questions are. So we need to stay connected to all of you in the future to come back and tell us, hey, I've seen such and such in these industries, we need more research done in these areas. Can you and your faculty members take this question and actually do the research for that? So that's the other area that we could be improving on in terms of scholarship.
What would you say are your most significant research accomplishments?
Yeah, you know, I've done a lot of work on inflation dynamics. I'm a macroeconomist doing research on why has inflation behaved the way it has and what might happen in the future. Probably the biggest research paper that I wrote was co-authored with a professor at Johns Hopkins University, and he and I have written several papers together now. We wrote a paper in 2011 about why inflation during the Great Recession of 2008-2009 wasn't as low as people suspected. Lots of people thought inflation would approach zero, maybe even become negative, but it did not, and that was a big puzzle to macroeconomists at the time. So we used a model and data to explain why that didn't happen, and that was a very widely cited paper and earned us a reputation in the literature. And two exciting things happened for me, at least from that, is one, the economic report of the President of the United States did cite that research in the annual report of the economy that year, and then secondly, the textbook in macroeconomics that I used when I was a student actually now cites that paper in its current edition, so that was exciting for me.
Teamwork and mentorship is a huge part of any person's success. Who can you thank for getting to where you are today?
Yeah, really great question. You're right, teamwork and mentoring are essential at every level of education, industry, family, wherever you think about. For sure, I would say my father. You know, my father was a great leader for me and modeled what it means to be a sacrificial, loving leader of our family. And he taught me to be confident in myself. So he instilled in me that confidence from a really young age. He also taught me to always think before I speak. And that was a lesson he taught me when I was very young, and is a lesson that serves us all very well. So he was very formative to me growing up. I would also say, you know, when I first became a professor, my department chair at the time, a man named Robert Waples at Wake Forest University, he was just a wonderful man and a great teacher in the classroom, and he really cared. So he taught me what it means to be a professor who really cares for their students and cares for the welfare of the institution. And he's a man of faith as well. So he held all of those things together. And so he was also and is a big role model for me even to this day.
In one word, how would you describe the vision you have for this business school and the students it houses, and why would you choose this word?
It's a difficult word to just pick one. If I was to pick one, I think the one my mind would always come back to is excellence. So we need to pursue excellence in scholarship, teaching, what our students are doing, the work that our faculty, staff are doing. We don't want to be an okay business school or an average, mediocre, middle-level business school. We need to excel in what we're doing, and those are the talents and resources we've been given by God, and we need to do our very best with them. So excellence is the word I would pick.
Incoming students are often asked, why Baylor? What drew you to attend school here? What's your why Baylor for coming to Waco?
Yeah, that's an important question for us all to wrestle with, I think. For me, I would say a couple of things. The fact that Baylor wants to be a preeminent Christian research university, that's what really brought me here, and the two things are the Christian part and the research part. Being at a faith-based institution was just such a huge draw for me, something I wasn't able to do prior to being here, and I hold that central to my life. So teaching our students and doing scholarship as a part of our Christian witness, I think is an important mindset for us to have. So that really drew me to Baylor, but also with that to pursue excellence in scholarship such that we're helping society and promoting human flourishing. So those things all together really made Baylor stand out above every other institution for me.
What characteristics do you believe are most important for business students to develop during their time here at Baylor?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. I think being inquisitive, asking questions in the classroom of your faculty members, of your classmates, of yourself as well. Work hard, be agile, don't be afraid to adapt and move around where that needs to happen, and it does need to happen, so don't be afraid of that. Innovate where innovation is needed. Work in teams, I would say as well. But also, be humble. Realize that you don't know everything. Well, that's true for all of us. We don't know the answer to everything, and sometimes we think we do, but that's just not true. And we need to also learn and be humble in the way that we're learning from others as well. And the last thing I would say is be vulnerable. None of us can do this on our own. We need help sometimes, and the only way we can help each other, or one way we can help each other is being willing to receive help ourselves. So I think that's also an important part of being a business student.
What are some ways that you give back personally to the community while having such a demanding role and career?
Yeah, I think giving back through church is the first thing I would think about, the work you're doing to help your community through your church service and as a group there. And that's something that we are getting into here at Waco in our transition from North Carolina to the church we're now a part of. In the past, I've done lots of volunteering through things like soup kitchens and whatnot, which I've always enjoyed. But I'm very interested in thinking about, as a business school together, how do we do outreach to the community and give back to society, especially here in Waco.
So as classes have gotten into full swing, how are you maintaining a work-life balance, and what advice would you have for students in maintaining some type of balance in their studies?
Yeah, work-life balance is critical. We need to work hard in our classes and everything we're doing, but you also need to take care of yourself and keep a proper physique and mental balance and just a healthy way of life as well. I try to stay grounded by spending time with my family, my wife and young kids. They keep me grounded, and I always like to think I take my work seriously, but not myself. So I like to goof around with my kids at home, and I have hobbies as well. I like to listen to jazz. I'm a big jazz fan, and I like to cook at home and eat good food, and I'm a sports fan, and doing all of these things is a part of me as a human being, and you need to do all of those things to sustain yourself. And being in a community, I can't emphasize enough that you cannot do this by yourself, so don't try to do it by yourself. Take in others around you as part of the journey.